Hey guys, Irit here with another process video in my art journal. I'm starting with this half made page that I don't know. I drew this a while back and I don't think I filmed it. Yeah, so I looked and I don't know. I don't think I filmed this. Anyway, I did it a while back. It was inspired by watching Anne of Avonlea. The story of Anne Shirley, the new Netflix version. I managed to watch the whole first season, and yeah, it's okay. Anyway, I decided to finish this because this journal is slowly getting full. I think I have 4 more pages or something like that. This is the Stillman Birn Beta series, A4 size, hardcover sketchbook, and it's fantastic. When I'm done with this, I think I'll move on to my Jane Davenport journal, which is also lovely. And I did a quick sketch of a face that kind of turned out looking like Monica Bellucci, I find, but ended up really not as attractive as she is. And I did that with some watercolor pencil, sorry, in kind of this purpley color. And I'm trying to keep my colors close to the ones on the right side, which I have no idea what I used. It was a while back, and probably my watercolor sets have changed 5 times since I made that over a month ago, I think. But yeah, just trying to keep it kind of cohesive. And you will see the incarnations that this paper goes through, this art journal. And I started this, I have to say, a little bit cocky. I was feeling really good and really pleased with my my recent adventures in my art journal. And so I was like, yeah, everything I make is amazing. And no, I don't really think that, but I was like super confident starting this, sure that it would be, that it would look great, and it so did not. I mean, I like how it ends up, but you'll see that it took a few unexpected turns. So I try every color that I add to the left side, I try to add it to a couple more places in the spread, just to keep things, yeah, looking more intentional and cohesive. Again, that word, cohesive. Also, I really find that I need to kind of, ground these faces and not just have a face and a neck floating on the page. I really feel that it needs to kind of go all the way until the edge of the page. And you can make a super long neck, and you can keep things very, very simple and undefined and almost abstract. But I find that looks better if you have some sort of, shoulders, something, not just a floating head. And yeah, moving on in the colors, this time I didn't really go for my rainbow order. I just kind of went with the colors on the right side. And yeah, just trying to add some definition to the face, getting a bit brave, then freaking out and soaking up most of that super intense turquoise that I added, and trying to kind of keep things not overworked. And I think I really saw that moment when it did become overworked. And I think we're not there yet, but it's coming soon. So it's better to just, when you're not sure what do you want to do next, then take a break. And sometimes it's really hard, especially for me, because if I finally get the time to sit down and paint, I don't want to take a break. I want to paint because I don't know when the next time I can paint comes. And that leads to, doing nonsense and making mistakes and overworking stuff. Yeah. So the thing is, I felt like I didn't want to add any more watercolor at this stage. So I thought I'd move on to pencils, which was a good idea in theory. But you want to do that. I'm just showing you this color. It's called Ice Green. It's by Holbein. And these are regular coloring pencils, not watercolor pencils at this stage. And the Holbein's one are fantastic. I know they are kind of hard to get, and the Prismacolors are great too. I really love the colors of the Holbein pastel set. Yeah, so anyway, the problem is my watercolors were not completely dry, and if they're not dry, the paper is more sensitive, and if you go on like glitchy gratchy with your pencil, you know, just doing all those rough sketching movements, it kind of goes into the paper and you're left with that texture. Now, I don't really mind, but I think it's better to wait until things are dry. So one way to do that, you can use a heat gun if you like that. I don't like using heat guns anymore. First of all, because they make noise, and noise is the enemy in my house when kids are quiet. And yeah, so, or you know, you can wait, but you can work on a few projects at the same time. So move here. This is where, sorry, I'm jumping, but here it started to get overworked. I should have left. It's like, ugh, I'm looking at it and why did I do that? The hair should be a little bit looser and less detailed and less layered than the face, and this was a big boo-boo. So I freaked out a little bit, and yeah, and then I decided, okay, let's move on to the pencil. This is the Stabilo black pencil that is water soluble. So you see that I'm actually dipping it in the water, and then I get that intense black color. I thought, okay, I'll add more contrast to the face, and then maybe the hair will not look so horrible. But I'm just going back to the point I wanted to make before. Work on a few projects. If it's possible, I suggest getting a couple of journals, you know, work on 2 or 3 journals at a time. And then you can, you know, if you have the time to create, you can work simultaneously on a few journals, and then you don't have to take a break from painting when you do have to take a break from one particular spread or project. Okay, so at this point I was like, okay, damage control, what can I do? Not a lot to do. So let's just play with what I have and see what happens. And then I decided just to add some more color. I also added some yellow pencil, and I'm not sure if this is watercolor pencil. I'm not sure, but I really find the yellow color adds light, and yeah, it just makes a lot of difference in my opinion. I think, yes, I think it is a watercolor pencil because I'm dipping it in the water, and if it's not watercolor pencil, well, then that's just stupid. Which is also, you know, quite possibly the truth. So things are dry, sorry. And here at this point I was like, okay, I don't like the hair, it looks horrible. What can we do? This is the no risk, no fun, no pain, no gain stage, people, and be brave. When I look at this, I'm thinking, I don't love it, so what's the worst that can happen? It can get uglier. Okay, I'm willing to take that chance in order to make something that maybe I will love. Now, because I have already so much color and mess going on that hair, going back with watercolors is not really a good decision, because it'll just make it darker and muddier and messier. And yeah, I could go with really creamy gouache, but you know, paint is just so easy. So I decided to go with acrylic paint, and I hate using brushes. I hate having that dirty water with acrylic paint that I know will go down the drain in my house. I hate that. So what to do? There are a few options to not using brushes. You can use something like a palette knife. You can use like a blender, you know, like Diane Reevely does with her paints. She uses that distress blender thing. Or you can use something like markers. And I think that's a great choice because, you know, there's no dirty brushes. And in this case, I thought it was better to use something like a marker, because even though these are really large markers, these are the Liquitex markers. I got these, I think, 3 years ago. They are still working fabulously. So I really have to hand it to Liquitex for their formula in their markers, because I've had these for a long time. I don't use them very often, and you can see they are gorgeous and goosey and juicy and working beautifully. So yeah, even though these are quite chunky, I still have more control. And since I'm not doing any very small details here, I thought it was a perfect choice for the hair. And I'm really happy that I did this. I love how her hair turned out, and I think it just made all the difference, and I'm super happy with how this turned out. So also the nice thing about mixing something like, you know, mixed media and knowing how to work with your supplies is that with something like a pencil, you can really get it like mucky and dip it into wet paint and just scratch it off once you're done. So I went in again with that Stabilo black pencil, sorry. I will leave a link to all the, yeah, that face turned out a bit creepy, I have to say. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I sure am enjoying making them. I wish you a lovely day and a wonderful summer or winter wherever you are in the world. Bye.